How did you get sick this time?
I took some fire in a fight back on the Allerai. Nothing serious, but I needed to open my suit to check the wound. I disinfected properly, but one of the section seals had taken some damage, and foreign matter got out of the disinfected zone. It was a stupid mistake. You always check your seals before doing local treatment. Unless you forget. Then you get a damn fever.
You can seal off part of your suit?
Right. Like dropping emergency doors on a ship during... It won't stop an infection that gets into my bloodstream, but it prevents a surface infection from spreading.
Were your immune system stronger before the Geth drove you from your homeworld?
Not as strong as those of most races, definitely. I'm not a biologist, but there's a theory about it. Because our planet lacked insect life, plants developed symbiotic relationships with large animals to spread seeds or pollen. Most viruses on our world were partially beneficial, so our immune systems evolved to be weak. They were more likely to adapt to contamination than fight it.
But Quarians colonized other worlds. They couldn't have all been like that.
They weren't. Most colonists went through a period of mild illness before adapting to the new environment. When the Geth took the homeworld and our colonies, the sterile environment on the flotilla ruined our immune system's adaptability. Even if we colonized a new world or reclaimed our own, we'd need a long process of bioengineering to recover.
I don't know if I could live inside a suit my whole life.
We are in our suits even among family. The most intimate thing we can do with another Quarian is link our suit environments. We get sick at first, and then we adapt. It's our most important gesture of trust, of acceptance. I haven't trusted anyone enough for that, though, except... well, no Quarians. You know what I mean.
I appreciate the thought, Towie. And I feel the same way. But you don't have to prove anything to me.
I know. Nevertheless, I'd be honored to link suits with you. You know, if you were a Quarian and we weren't already on a suicide mission. I'm going to tinker a bit more. Thanks for coming by.
Do you need something?
Have a few minutes to talk?
Very well. I had been recording a message for Kolyat.
How are things going with him?
It is difficult. All things worth keeping are. I never explained. I suppose the story of my wife's death took you by surprise.
I figured you'd explain to me when you were ready.
I appreciate your patience. I kept my work clear of our home life. I assumed that would be enough to protect Erica. That memory I mentioned before. Laser dot trembles on the target's skull. The smell of spice on a spring wind. Sunset eyes defiant in the scope. That was Erica. That was how I met her. She saw my targeting laser as she walked by and threw herself in the way.
So how'd she go from blocking your shot to having your children?
I had to meet her. The memory possessed and endowed me. I fell on my knees before her, begged her pardon. She introduced me to the world beyond my work. Eventually, she forgave me. Later, she loved me.
I guess she impressed you.
She woke me up. Her body trembles, not fear. Indignation. Her mouth moves. How dare you? You and I trained to sacrifice ourselves to save others. How often does a civilian step in the way of a bullet to protect someone they've never met? I thought she was the goddess Hirashu. She met my eyes through the scope, and my purpose faltered.
When you talked to Kolyat, you said she died.
I let myself become complacent. I thought Erica and Kolyat were safe. I stayed away too long, and my enemies came for her.
Who came for her?
Batarians, a slaver ring that was preying on Hanar outer colonies. I'd killed their leaders. They paid the shadow broker to find out who I was. But they were afraid of me. so they went after her.
You told Colliet that you hunted her killers down.
Irika woke me up. When she passed, I returned to my battle sleep. My body hunted her killers, murdered them. I was taught to grant death quickly, cleanly, to minimize suffering. I let them linger.
You were operating on instinct. By your own rules, you can't blame yourself.
But I made the choice to hunt them. They're the only lives I've ever taken of my own choice. The only deaths on my own conscience. I haven't spoken about my wife, and I don't think I ever have. I didn't have anyone left to tell it to.
You're talking to your son again. That's huge. Don't lose sight of that by dwelling on should-have-beens.
You are correct, of course. Thank you for listening, Siha.
I think my translator just glitched. What did you call me?
Siha. Someday I'll tell you what it means.
Hey, Shepard. The word is that Garrus really likes you. I can never tell with Turians. I think you should go for it. A lot of people want to see you two together. I'm glad to hear Thane and his son are back in touch. It'll be hard, but I think they'll be fine. I'm really glad you got Tali out of trouble with the migrant fleet. It's hard to see her upset. Come back later. I'm sure I'll have more to talk about.
Shepard, need me for something?
Have you got a minute?
Definitely. Part of me still thinks we're crazy for even considering blowing off steam, but I want to try it with you. I want a few moments that are just for us before we throw ourselves into hell for the good of the galaxy.
I want that too, Garrus.
Glad to hear it. I'll do some, research and figure out how to, Okay, that sounded bad.
Shepard, how can I help?
Have you got a minute to talk?
Actually, wanted to talk. Medical matters. Aware that mission is dangerous. Different species react differently to stress. Sexual activity normal stress release for humans and Turians. Still, recommend caution. Warn of chafing.
I intend to be cautious, Doctor. But Garrus is important to me. You're not gonna scare me off.
Of course. Hormones. Regardless, come see me later. May need analgesic. Chafing.
You have a recommendation as a doctor?
Turians based on dextroamino acids. Human ingestion of tissue could provoke allergic reactions. Anaphylactic shock possible, so don't ingest. Also forwarding advice booklet to your quarters. Valuable diagrams, positions comfortable for both species, erogenous zone overviews. Can supply oils or ointments to reduce discomfort. Gave ED electronic relationship aid demonstration vids to use as necessary.
Wait a minute, Morgan. You're just yanking me around, aren't you?
Shocking suggestion. Doctor-patient confidentiality, a sacred trust. Would never dream of mockery. Enjoy yourself while possible, Shepard. We'll be here studying cell reproduction. Much simpler, less alcohol and mood music required.
Tapping into Blue Sun's communications. Stay tight and look out for ambushes.
Squad Bravo, a shuttle landed near your location. Check it out.
Here we go. Keep close. Shot in the back and left to rot. That's definitely Vito's style. Let's push ahead.
Command to Bravo, take a position. Likely these people are not runaways. Report to base. Armed intruders incoming at the southern checkpoint. Heads up!
Scratch one!
Come on!
Hell yeah!
I've got heavy weapons. This should slow him down.
Reinforcements incoming. We got your backs.
Get impact short!
Down. Protocol 5. Requesting support.
About to go off! Tortoise Red's out there.
Firing concussive shot!
All squads, fall back! This is Commander Santiago. If any of you retreat while the intruders are still alive, I'll kill you myself. Now get the hell back out there!
Vito. Sounds like he hasn't changed.
I get the feeling you have a past with this, Vito.
I knew he was a sadistic bastard back when we started the Blue Suns. The Suns only got meaner after he staged his little coup 20 years ago. So yeah, we have a past.
Why didn't anyone tell me you founded the Blue Suns?
Because it's not common knowledge. Vito wiped me out of the records. He ran the books, I led the men. Worked real well for a while. Then Vito decided to start hiring Batarians. Cheaper labor, he said. Goddamn terrorists, I said.
20 years is a long time to hold a grudge.
A grudge? Vito turned my men against me. He paid 6 of them to restrain me while he put a gun to my head and pulled the trigger. For 20 years, I've seen that bastard every time I closed my eyes. Every time I sighted down on a target. Every time I heard a gunshot. Don't you call that a goddamn grudge?
You survived a gunshot to the head?
Yeah. And you survived your ship getting disintegrated. A stubborn enough person can survive just about anything. Rage is a hell of an anesthetic.